Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome back into another edition of the Arkansas Football Recruiting Report. That's Otis Kirk. I'm Evan Camico. Otis, well, we were talking last week, and we didn't know what was going to happen with the offensive coordinator hire. And then Sam Pittman made the announcement that Bobby Petrino is coming back to Arkansas and will be the OC. What are your reactions on that news? Are you as surprised as everybody else in the state of Arkansas, or as pumped up as almost everybody else in the state of Arkansas?
Yeah, I guess I'm somewhat surprised because I didn't know, with all the stuff about could they hire him or not, and just the way it went down before when you I love Bobby Petrino. I started to say I coached him when covered him when he was here, before when he was the coach, not me. But no, I think the biggest thing was, people ask me what do recruits think about Bobby. Well, Sam, I think, answered that better than I could. Sam said that they haven't had to call recruits to talk to them about Bobby being hired. They actually called them,
Mm-hmm.
So the excitement was up. The excitement was obviously there, Evan, and just him getting out yesterday, Friday, and yesterday, and seeing kids, and today for that matter. They didn't have any official visitors this weekend, so they could actually stay on the road and recruit and go see these prospects. And I just think that it was an important hire in the sense that it brings name person to Arkansas, and it gives kind of, that the offense is going to go in a good direction now. Whereas before, it was just week to week, 7-3, 50 yards at halftime offense. It just wasn't pretty. And I think with Bobby, people knows that, or most people realize this guy's a great play caller, and he's the best play caller I've ever seen, Evan. He really is. Especially at the collegiate level. I just think he does a great job, and the recruits were excited. So, we'll see how that works out. But I really liked working with him when he was here before. I got along with Bobby fine. I never had an issue with Bobby. I enjoyed working with him. I enjoyed the games because they would win, made it a lot more fun than try when they're 11-2 or 10-3 instead of, whatever. It makes it more fun to cover them. So it was fun. And, it is what it is, but, I'm glad he's back. I'll be honest with you. I'm glad he's back. And yes, I am somewhat surprised, but I've learned not to be too surprised about anything in this business, man. In this day and age, in this business, nothing totally catches me off guard. But I'm glad he's back, to answer your question, man.
Absolutely, and it's a big thing, and you talk about the recruits a little. We'll get into the Archers, but Kane Archer immediately tweeted out that he was happy that Bobby Petrino was back. So a lot of the recruits take that as a really good thing, and we'll talk about some of the recruits in just a moment. But I want to get your thoughts on the whole second chance part of what Petrino was saying, is that football is a game where everybody gets to come in from different backgrounds, from different religions, different homes, and unite as a football team and have love for each other. How important was that Bobby was true to that message and really showed that, this is why he deserves a second chance?
Yeah. What I've said about that second chance stuff is, what he did, if his wife was willing to forgive him, why in the world should I judge that man? If Bobby's wife was willing to forgive him and work it out, why in the world would Otis Kirk have a problem? I think everybody deserves a second chance, Evan. And Bobby certainly is no different than anyone else in that situation. And I hope all the people judging him and being really nasty with their remarks, I hope they lived a perfect life and committed no sins and lived a perfect charmed life. I don't hope other people to standards that I'm not. So I wish everybody was like that. But like I said, if Bobby's wife was willing to forgive him, it's none of my business. I think, but it takes a man of Bobby Petrino's stature to kind of put himself out there and say those things. I think that's big, Evan.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Real technically, he was hired. He didn't have to say that stuff. Not to us, to the media. I'm sure he had to do some explaining to Hunter and to Sam and this and that. But to us, he didn't have to say that stuff. And so I think it was big of him to do that. I think it was a very good act on Bobby's part, or not act, a very good sincere deal on Bobby's part. I didn't mean to act. I didn't mean in a bad way.
The display of his emotions, where you're seeing a different Bobby Petrino, where he's wearing that on his sleeve. And a big thing that I believe is that everybody deserves second chances, that everything happens for a reason. And this is all led up to everything that happened 10 plus years ago, all led up to this moment. And hopefully 2024 can be his redemption arc with Arkansas, taking them, to that expanded 12 team college football playoff. That's, a lot of people are out on social media questioning the 4 teams right now, but hopefully Arkansas can be in that discussion in 2025, actually.
Thank God it'll be more than 4 teams, because I'd hate to be a Florida State fan today. And I get what happened. I get all that. In fact, I'd hate to be a Georgia fan. I'd hate to be a Florida State, Georgia fan today. And I completely get, and it's not that I disagree with what happened. I changed my mind I was doing a podcast with Jason Patterson this morning, and I changed while I was on the show. I started out saying Alabama didn't deserve it, and then I changed it to Florida State. I think the 4 best teams right now, and I think you do have to take the Jordan Travis injury into fair or not. But like I said, I get, if you're a Florida State or Georgia fan, I get the anger, man. I'd be the same way if I was them. I get the whole deal. It's just I've always wanted a deal where when there was 5 Power 5 conferences, Evan, I wanted it where all 5 the winners automatically got in. Then you had like 3 wild cards,
Mm-hmm.
Then you could have covered for Georgia and Ohio State and maybe Oregon or somebody could have gotten in that way, but your 5 champions would have gotten in. I've never thought the 2 or 4 made sense anyway, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. Anyway, all right, let's get back on topic because we got a little off topic. And I know we could probably talk about that for hours, but let's talk Greg Genros. He just committed to Arkansas, tight end. He's somebody who Arkansas had their eye on. They got him, one of the top community college transfers in the portal right now. What do you have on him?
We talked on here last week, and I said I thought it was interesting that Arkansas was his second SEC offer, but yet he had that pinned. Mm-hmm. I don't always put a lot of stock on what a kid does on X, but with that case, he had my second SEC offer and had it pinned. He didn't have his first; he had his second. And I actually met the kid and talked to him and interviewed him. And I thought Arkansas was I think I said that last week. I thought Arkansas was in really good shape with him. You just never knew. But then, by the way, Evan, they played in the Wool Bowl in Roswell, New Mexico, Friday night, and they won 37-6. I have not seen a box score on that. I looked for it, and I saw everything but a box score. And so I don't know how he did, but they did win 37-6 over New Mexico Military Institute. But he's 6'7", 230, a very good tight end. Was first team all Jayhawk conference up there, in that conference at Dodge City. They finished 8-3. He got Dodge City. They got them back on the map. His group of not seniors, but his group of sophomores did, and got them back on track. And so they won their bowl game, went 8-3. But I think he brings a lot to the room. We know Luke is coming back. He has announced on Twitter. We don't know who else is coming back or not coming back, but I think he will give them another threat at tight end. And, he's fast enough to flank out and play a little receiver too. And, he's like a lot like most of the guys Arkansas's got, the Lukes, the Ties, the Shamars, and those guys, Varkey's, they can play outside some too. They've got good speed. They're good receivers. And, somebody talked to me about he didn't have 200 yards receiving. I said, folks, you don't understand. A lot of these junior colleges, they don't have great quarterbacks, man. I mean, we're not talking about KJ Jefferson, the quarterbacks in those conferences. We're talking about some of them. There's a reason those teams, they struggle at quarterback. Most conferences do. That's why Cam Newton, when he was at one of those junior colleges, tore it up, because most JUCOs don't have a quarterback like Cam Newton. So, yeah, that he was first team all conference. So he was obviously the best tight end in that conference. And it was good. Great pickup for Sam and Morgan Turner and those guys to get a kid like that on board. And, he wanted to go where he could play. So obviously he feels like he can play here. I think he can. He told me that was one of the keys, 2 years to play. He didn't want to go where he couldn't play. So obviously he feels he can play. And I see no reason he can't. And besides, we saw this year, man, if there's the injuries, that position can get to not depleted, but that position could get knocked down quite a bit. You saw it with Luke, then you saw Ty, and you could feel the injuries there. So, and I think Shamar Easter's got a good future ahead of him there too. So I think they're in that. Morgan Turner's going to done a very good job with that position. So I'm looking forward to seeing Greg this spring. He is a midterm guy, by the way. So we'll see him in the spring, spring training.
Will be exciting. He definitely has the frame, like you said, to play in the SEC. The question is, will the results carry over from JUCO to the SEC? Let's talk some more recruits now. Petrino and Sam Pittman on the recruiting hunt, like you already said this week. They talked to one guy. The first guy they met at home is Courtney Crutchfield, and he was somebody who was committed to Arkansas, then decommitted. Crystal Balls have him going to Mizzou, but that's still up in the air. What have you heard on him? How did that visit go?
It went really well, and I think Arkansas. I think the hiring of Petrino may, and I'm not saying it will, but I think it may save them there. And that kid's big time. Evan, I've told this story before, but when he was in the 9th grade, I was at a 7-on-7 at Benton, and he was in that tournament, and he blew me away. I got on Pig Trail Nation on this same show that day from Benton and raved about the kid. He played receiver, and in the last drive, they were playing I want to say a team from Texas, but they were playing another team, and the last drive, that team was driving to win, and he intercepted a pass at defensive back there. He's just a big time player, and it's hard to let a kid. You got to keep a kid like that in your state because they don't grow on trees. And he's a receiver, but Courtney can play defensive back. He'll play receiver, but he can play anywhere. And but you really want to keep him in the state, and hopefully this hiring of Petrino helps to do that. He is Charlie Collins' cousin, and Charlie trying to stay strong with the Hogs. So, and right now, till Charlie tells me he's not coming, I'm gonna say he is coming because he's stayed committed. He's made it clear on social media he's committed, but he's still talking to other schools. But till Charlie tells me he's not coming, I'll believe he is coming. So we'll see. But he and Crutchfield are cousins, and we'll see what Crutchfield does. But I think this visit definitely helped Arkansas. And he'll get the ball with Petrino. He'll get the ball, so that's not going to be an issue.
Absolutely. And again, we talk about it's a theme I feel like that we've talked ever since the summer is that it is so important to keep your in-state talent in-state. And on to another in-state visit, Braylon Russell, a running back. He was somebody who committed back in the summer as well. Bobby and Sam were also at his house. Yeah. How did that one go?
Yeah, Jimmy Smith was there too. Oh, Jimmy, tell you what, they got fed well. I'll say that, Mr. and Mrs. Russell.
The spread looked really good.
Oh, man, they know how to put some food on the table. I'd put on 10 pounds if I'd have been there with those ribs, catfish and stuff. Man, they were putting the food on there, and it looked good. And I'm mad at Jimmy and Bobby and Sam. But now here's a kid, 6'2", 230, running back. He's got good speed. He's got everything you want in a running back. And he turned down South Carolina, Tennessee, and stuff to come to Arkansas, and probably could have chosen. Well, I know he could have chosen A&M, a lot of other schools too. It wasn't just those three, but he's a kid that Arkansas wanted. He committed when he was young, and then decommitted, and then switched back to Arkansas, and that was a big pickup for Sam and Jimmy Smith and those guys. And I'm looking forward to see what Braylon's midterm as well, and we'll see what he can do at Arkansas. But January the 12th, Mom said yesterday she's got him till January the 12th, and then we got to let him go. But he'll be here on in January they start classes here. But there's another kid like Greg we talked about. I'm anxious to see him go through spring ball and see what he can do. They've got a deep running back room. We don't know what the portal is going to bring this next week there. I don't have any clue, but I just know that this kid can compete with anybody, and he will compete with anybody, and be 6'2", 230 and fast. And he's got, God bless the kid with good size and speed and talent. So, it's a good starting place for any running back. 6'2", 230 and got speed and got skill to boot. He knows how to run, not just a big guy that runs. He knows how to run. He's a very good running back. And so future bright for Braylon Russell.
Absolutely. The Arkansas running back room continues to be a strength year in and year out for this Hog team. Let's end today with some high school stuff. Kane Archer, Cash Archer, Cody Taylor go undefeated at Greenwood. What a season they had, Artis.
Oh man, I tell you what, to go 13-0, I believe it's 13-0, whatever 14, whatever their record was, it went undefeated. And to do that is unheard of. I mean, it's just and Fayetteville did the same thing, and you know, you got to really take your hat off to these three teams, Greenwood, Fayetteville, and Little Rock Parkview. Those teams played this weekend against a very good I thought C.J. Brown had a big game yesterday, but it's good to see those Greenwood kids. I mean, boy, they beat this Little Rock Christian team with Walker White, a very good team. They beat them twice in like the last month or so, Evan. I was at the game in Greenwood and might have been there Friday night had I not been quarantined by the doctor. But yeah, it was impressive what Greenwood did. I tell you what, man, Kane Archer, he's not even human. That kid's not human. I mean, he reminds me of LeBron. I mean, he's not even human, man. I mean, this kid, he made a play, and it's been on X quite a bit where he was running to his right, and just before he stepped out of bounds, he made a throw, staying in bounds. That play got so, and it should get a lot of love, man. I hope Adam, I know Adam got to see that, his dad, but I mean, because he was at the game, but I hope I know he got to see the video. He had to, because I mean, it was on all over the social media, but that was one heck of a throw, man. That's a big time throw. I mean, you think the kid's going out of bounds, you think he's going to lose yardage, and all of a sudden he doesn't just throw it, he completes it, and just Kate Archer's just, he's unreal. He's not even, he's not even a great quarterback. He's beyond great. I don't even know how to describe that kid. And then his brother Cash is a kid. And I'm going to say this, and I have no hesitation saying it. Arkansas needs to offer Cash Archer. I know he's smaller defensive end, but he can play linebacker. But when you got that Grant Morgan, Greenwood, Drew Morgan mentality out there, Tyler Wilson mentality, Lucas Miller mentality, Tatum OMB mentality, those kids, they play above. They play above their what you think they should be. I mean, you look at Cash Archer, and he's smaller defensive end, by college standards, not by high school. But he can make the adjustment to linebacker. I mean, but Arkansas needs to offer Cash, in my opinion, and that's my 2 cents. I mean, Sam may get mad at me saying that, but if he does, it's my opinion. And then Cody Taylor, I've gone on record 1,000,000 times saying Arkansas needs to offer it. It will be interesting with the new offensive line coach coming in, how quickly they do or don't offer Cody Taylor. Because I felt like he deserved an offer all along too. I think Kane's got an offer, but I think Cash and Cody Taylor deserve offers too. And I'm not shy about saying that, Evan. I really think all 3 of those Greenwood kids deserve offers to Arkansas. And
Absolutely.
For that matter.
Absolutely. It should be interesting to see what Arkansas does. Remember, Cody Taylor is out. He's going to Mississippi State. And Kane Archer, I mean, he just got flashes of Caleb Williams. Like, I think when you say unhuman, you think Superman, you think Caleb Williams right now in college football. Kane Archer, you'd love to see that size improve a little bit, but at the end of the day, man, he is special. And you're right. The Hogs, you don't know the quarterback room is going to look like. Even you don't know what it's going to look like next year, and you hope that they have a prospect because, again, the Bobby Petrino hire gets the fans back into it, and you love to keep your in-state talent in-state. Otis, anything else before we go?
Well, I just going to say real quick, Kane did like, you mentioned this earlier, that Kane loved the hire. Adam called me, his dad called me as soon as they was announced, and he was super excited. I had the flu and didn't answer, but he was texting me. But his dad was super excited. So, yeah, I mean, I think that was a good move there. And as a quarterback, why would you not love the Bobby Petrino hire? As a receiver, why would you not love the Bobby Petrino hire? So I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with the quarterback room, the running back room, and the offensive line coach hiring. So those are going to be some interesting things to watch the next week here in Arkansas, because we don't know what kind. When people ask me, would Arkansas go after Will Rogers? Well, first you got to figure out what KJ Jefferson's doing. Then you got to know, does Sam Pittman and Bobby Petrino feel comfortable going with Jacoby Criswell if KJ does leave? If not, then you need to go to the portal. If you do feel comfortable with Jacoby, what do you do with maybe another high school kid? So, we'll see. There's a lot of questions. It's not that simple. Just say yes or no on these questions right now. Evan, you know that. I know that. It's not that simple right now. You got to let some of these dominoes fall, and then you make your move.
Absolutely. College football never as simple as yes or no, as demonstrated on the smallest levels here in Arkansas and on the biggest level in the national stage. When it comes to the college football playoff, that's going to do it for your Arkansas football recruiting report. For Otis Kirk, I'm Evan Kamiko saying so long, and we'll see you next week.